But Troy, whilst you're in full flow, we've got 50 fans on this call this evening, right? And the question kind of is, what can fans do, and how can they respond to discrimination when they see it, or how can they affect the fans that they work with, that they're among? To all the panel, but I'll start with you first, Troy. What message can we give to the fans listening? Because these are prominent fans that are among very key fan groups that are doing great stuff. What kind of message can we give them to maybe help you at Kick It Out, challenge the governing bodies? What sort of message can we give to the panelists, give everyone listening, to sort of not end on a positive, but end with an action, so we can take away and go, okay, that was great, that was interesting, but can we do this? Have you got anything for the 50 fans that are
well,
online?
I love the way the slide has just come up and rolled in quite naturally to what I was going to say, to be totally honest. We didn't pre-plan that at all, by the way. So listen, first and foremost, Kick It Out need all the support we can get. We are a small charity who are struggling during difficult times, and as everyone else is, obviously, but the very aspect of discrimination is not going away and hasn't gone away. We have the opportunity to collectively now have a stronger and more powerful voice. People say our voice is powerful. Sometimes I question it and think in certain circles, but with our new initiative, Take a Stand, we have the opportunity now to empower more people to take ownership of their space. And for me, for fans to take ownership of what they do. So Take a Stand is almost like a call to action initiative, but also lends to what are you going to do? So, the fan bases, the community groups, the individuals, make a pledge, put it out on social media if you can, but, hashtag Take a Stand and drive change in the way that you want to see it, and then become part of the collective voice of change. So I wouldn't want to tell anyone what they can do. What I'm saying is be a part of now the message that we are trying to send out to everybody in the game. And it's our new message of Take a Stand. And it's me as an individual committing to saying, I'll take a stand by, and I've got an easy one, continuing to educate the football fraternity on racism and discrimination. And I'll continue to do it in all the spaces that are available to me. Fans might say, well, we as XXFC are going to take a stand by committing to report abuse where we see it, and stand strong together as a football club, as a community, to call out hate. There's a quite unique WhatsApp number as well alongside that will help you find all the education that you need and all the people that are working in this space. I haven't used it yet, so don't ask me how it works, but apparently it works. But it's another means of a resource that we have with the limited resources that we have as a charity. And this is one thing I'll leave you with, Anmar, because I know I can talk and I'm sorry, but I used to think that there were only a few of us walking this path, and I used to feel the weight on my shoulders. I can name the names of people who were walking this path, and I felt weighed down. I felt like there wasn't much more I had left in me. I felt like I couldn't go on. I'm not going to deny that. Since the Black Lives Matter in football, not the political one, but the football one, I've now seen people standing next to me, behind me, some on my shoulders, some picking me up. And I feel more empowered now that we are at the point of change. We are at the point of people are now not enough. And all the negativity that people are creating, there's a more powerful voice that will shut that negativity down. So if we can do it as part of taking a stand, us collectively as people working in the game, as fan groups, as people that are so passionate about what we do, let the players do their bit and let us provide that support, from a distance, from afar. I'll shut up now because I know you're running out of time. I'm sorry.
No, listen, Trey, thank you so much. I think it's really important that everyone is aware of the work that goes on and the ways in which we can take a stand and contribute and support each other. So we've got a little bit of time to the panelists. Osei, is there any sort of final messages or words of wisdom to the fans that have tuned in, who we can work with continually and hopefully try to work towards positive change?
No, I think we're preaching to the converted to a degree for everyone that's on this call. All I would say is, be proud of what you're trying to achieve and be proud of what you stand for. Shout about it. Tell people what you're doing. Don't keep the fact that you're on these kinds of calls secret. Tell other people about what you've spoken about on this call. Encourage people to take this issue seriously. Encourage people to show some empathy towards others and to look out for one another. We talk about racism a lot, but we're talking about ultimately these are basic human issues. We should all be looking out for each other. Nobody should be suffering for any type of reason. So I would say we need to make caring for one another cool. It's got to be cool to look out for one another and make sure that we're all right. And you got the coolest man doing it in Anwar. So, be like Anwar.
Rodney and Natalie, before we come to you, we're just going to run the poll again, just to see if there's a different response to the taking the knee question after the discussion, if Debs can roll that. And then while that's kind of doing, while you're filling that in, Rodney, what are your thoughts on what's been said so far about taking this forward as supporters?
I think, the hashtag take a stand is quite appropriate, really. And what Osei said is, to talk about the platforms that you speak on and who you speak with, and to amplify the voice you have, but also the conversation that's taking place, so that people are aware, players are aware, the football organisations are aware that these conversations are happening. And they need to listen to those conversations and also be part of the conversation, so that change actually, comes to fruition. It's football. They say that football is a driver for social change, but it's the individuals within football that actually do it, not the organisation itself. It's the individuals, and whether we are 1 or 2 fans or 50 fans or a group, that no one really talks about. As long as we're actually having the conversation and say these things are important, we are at the table seeking to have a balanced and equal conversation about things that need to be changed, or that's one of the ways that we can get to, the destination where we no longer have to talk about diversity and inclusion as if it's a swear word. It's just, part and parcel of who we are as people.
I know we're wrapping up. Can I ask you all to think about, somebody's asked, what's the fans' version of taking the knee? If you want to support what the players are doing as a fan, what is the thing? Now, is it with the hashtag take a stand? Is it with getting involved in the Fans for Diversity campaign, or could it be something else?
I would focus on those 2 elements. Take a stand. It can be so powerful, and connecting with obviously your supporter group in doing that. Let's inspire and let's educate. I don't want to. It's the easiest way of showing your support, and I still think there's something that we can do collectively when fans are allowed in, that is a fans' day around taking a stand, or initiative that is promoting equality within football, or speaking out about racism. I really do believe that it should be one of the first things that when fans are allowed back in, that we try and develop and contribute to, so that the fans have their opportunity to share their experiences as well.
That brings us
because I think that could be so powerful. Sorry.
No, I was just that fed in nicely to when you were talking about supporters. Natalie is obviously a supporter, is set up a supporters group. So what's your view on how supporters can do it?
I know through Fans for Diversity, we're our supporters group, we show our support by buying flags and getting a lot of flags. And obviously when this all, when the Black Lives Matter movement all kicked off, that was one of the things that I was insistent on, putting towards getting a flag that says Black Lives Matter. And I know the first game back for our women's team, that flag was like right up, and that's something that when we're back we will be taking home, away, you know, obviously when we can, but it's something that's always goes up our home games where it can. And I just think it's you know, for me, football's a community. It's everyone. It's white, black, it's Asian, it's, you know, gay, straight. And I think, you know, we need to look after each other, and just like, you might not think that, because, you know, I think with racism or with, you know, inequality, it's not always direct. It's not always someone calling you a name. It can be little subtle things. And I think if someone says to you, you know, that made me feel like that, you need to appreciate it. Or if someone comes to you about something else, I think that's where, you know, take a stand, back up someone. You might not think it's you know, per se racism or discrimination, but if it makes someone feel like that, that's what it is to them. And that's where, you know, take the stand, and all things like Fans for Diversity and groups like this and doing these webinars, we need to know, like, support each other, because we're all together in it.